Ladies and gentlemen, Marjorie Taylor Greene, according to Newsweek, two articles in Newsweek, Marjorie Taylor Greene vows to impeach Joe Biden for his foreign policy, sending tens of billions of dollars to a country in Europe while it is being invaded and enduring a humanitarian tragedy under his watch. Now, we are 90 seconds to midnight. If you asked the average Democratic voter, they wouldn't mind funding the endless military quagmire forever. There is no time frame. The two parties, the Never Trump Republican Party and the Democratic Party, have no time frame for when they want to stop sending aid or when they want to, when they're okay with that conflict in Europe to end. There is no time frame. Literally no time frame. They don't mind as long as their mortal adversary in the Kremlin loses. So if you said, well, how long are you willing to allow this invasion, foreign policy catastrophe in Europe to take place? They would say forever. They won't give you an actual date. They won't say, well, you know what, about a year or more, 10 months, 2 months more, and then we have to decide on some kind of peace deal or negotiated settlement. The foreign policy issue, it was a moral imperative to have voted for Trump pertaining to foreign policy because the invasion in Europe wouldn't have taken place under Trump. He would have immediately focused on a negotiated settlement, some kind of peace deal, a ceasefire, an end to hostilities before the humanitarian catastrophe and human rights tragedy. And so you have to ask yourself, what has foreign policy been? How has it been redefined with Democrats and never-Trumpers and media and intel agencies? Okay, Trump is the foreign policy menace. Everything was leveled against Trump. The DNC emails and everything else that entailed, it was a plot by another country to help Trump. So foreign policy, or national security, I should say, was preventing other countries from influencing Americans. And then also funding a never-ending military battle in Europe. The average Democrat who would care so much about speech and words hurting people is also the type of individual who doesn't care about never-ending military conflict and quagmires and wars. They don't really care. They say they do, but they want one country defeated, and they're willing to utilize another country and fund another country to defeat the nation they think took 2016 away from Hillary Clinton and gave it to Trump, as they pontificate about Trump not accepting things. Hit subscribe to this channel every day, 8:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. Pacific. On this channel, we'll have videos forever. Go to hagoodman.com to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, and other publications. Become a Patreon. To my new Patreons, thank you. The super thanks is below next to the like and the share buttons. Your super thanks is greatly appreciated. Joe Biden will be impeached. That country in Europe is not the 51st state. We're in over $34 trillion in debt. And he goes, enough, impeach Biden. And she goes, enough, impeach Biden. Then you get an editor-in-chief. It's this former editor. So you get one person who is, liberal Democrats saying, Trump added to the debt. Biden is trimming it. And you and then he insults Marjorie Taylor Greene. The problem, however, is Trump added to the debt. If you look at his last year, the economy grew. We had $1 trillion deficits under President Obama. The economy grew under Trump. We had record low poverty in 2019 and record highs in household median income. The last year in his last year in office was not Trump adding to the debt. That was Democrats pushing to end the U.S. economy, Democratic governors tanking their economies. to the morally superior, wonderful liberal Democrats among us, that's Trump's 4 years. Okay, no. That's his last year in office when media, bureaucrats, Democrats fueled an end to the U.S. economy. They pushed for it, they advocated for it, and every time Trump wanted to open up, it was too soon. That is direct. The debt incurred, the debt that we spent his last year in office, Trump, was directly the fault of Democrats. Now, the rebuttal is, well, he didn't take it seriously, and so therefore governors had to tank their economies. So that was a choice. And there was a political motive also. You had the Wisconsin primary, and you had other primaries where there were hail and snow, and people still, were forced to actually be there in person. Okay? So this is the Democratic primary. So at the end, but they couldn't go get a coffee. And so we can go on forever. The duplicity and the hypocrisy was unbelievable Trump's last year. Not from Trump, from the Democratic Party. They got people afraid of their own shadow. And then they said, you can't go to a restaurant. Entrepreneurs were being targeted by Democratic governors. So don't blame Trump. It was Democrats who gleefully tanked their economy, their state economies. New York, California, every other state, Illinois, run by Michigan, run by Democrats. Then you had, we won't get into anything. In old age homes, there was controversies and foul play and all of that stuff in New York and Michigan, Democratic-run states. But here, if you look, the question is, in terms of foreign policy and national security, Trump does not revere sacred cows. Neither does Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is much better for the country and the world, even with things that she has said or, the things that she said you might not agree with, or I might not agree with, or I might think are weird or whatever. Is she better for the world than AOC? Oh my God, yes. Is she better for the world than Pelosi? Marjorie Taylor Greene is 1,000,000 times better than any Democrat for the world and for the country and for national security. Why? Because she's looking at tens of billions of dollars spent for a never-ending war and military conflict that Democrats would... If you ask the average Democratic voter, how long are you willing to see the invasion and hostilities in Europe go on for? Is there an end date? They will not give you one. For some people, it's literally forever until the Russians lose. That is a sinister mentality, okay? Or until the Kremlin is defeated. That is a sinister mentality because you're asking other people, you're asking another country, all those, you have so many, I don't have Twitter, I don't have Facebook, you have so many accounts with the symbol of the country that was invaded. But do they really care about the lives lost? You have Democrats and never Trumpers like Mitch McConnell, and you have Mitch McConnell, you have Biden, the same. This is why people vote for Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jim Jordan and James Comer and Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert and Trump. This is why. You had Adam Kinzinger voting alongside Trump over 90% of the time in Congress. He even voted for Trump 2 years ago, but then suddenly he's against Trump. Why? Because it's these types of issues. You cannot fund a never-ending war and then just expect to be seen as moral and wonderful. Everybody knows that if there was a tax, nobody would ever pay for it. If there was a tax to fund an ally, nobody would ever pay for it. We're putting it on a credit card. Okay, so at the end of the day, Marjorie Taylor Greene is on a very moral, she's on the right side of history when it comes to foreign policy, an issue that's infinitely more important than the crisis that Democrats claim to care about as they pump 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves into the economy. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Share this everywhere. Because they'll impeach Biden. It'll be about Hunter and the laptop and felonies and pay-to-play schemes, graft, all of that. possible bribery, all that. You'll just read the New York Post reporting. But this issue is very, very important. And Marjorie Taylor Greene and, of course, President Trump are on the right side of history. You are on the wrong side of history if you just want another country to battle your adversaries forever. It's a despicable mentality. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now.